Jean Harlow has died. The world of moviegoers mourn the vivacious blonde bombshell who has died of uremic poisoning in the very flower of her youth.
Old Hollywood sparkled with glamour, charm, and timeless legends. But behind the flashing cameras and red carpets lurked secrets so explosive they could have shattered entire careers. Affairs hidden in the shadows, secret rendezvous that defied studio contracts, and forbidden romances that risked it all. These weren't just scandals, they were game changers. From shocking love triangles to passionate flings that rewrote history, we are uncovering 21 hidden affairs that shook the very foundation of Tinseltown. The truth behind these hidden relationships is more dramatic than any script they ever performed. Number 21. Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier. Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier were not just celebrated actors, they were a couple whose love story captivated the world. Their romance began in the late 1930s, a time when both were already married, Leigh to Herbert Leahy Holman and Olivier to actress Jill Esmond. Despite their marital commitments, their mutual attraction was undeniable and led to a secret affair that started during the filming of Fire Over England in 1937. Their bond was intense and passionate. Leigh once confided to a friend after meeting Olivier, "That's the man I'm going to marry." Their relationship deepened through shared stage projects and a flurry of heartfelt letters exchanged during times apart. In 1940, following their respective divorces, they married, becoming a powerhouse couple in both British theater and Hollywood. However, their marriage was far from idyllic. Her mood swings, periods of depression, and extramarital affairs strained their relationship. Olivier, too, was not faithful. He engaged in other relationships, including one with actress Joan Plowright, whom he later married. Their union, marked by both professional collaboration and personal turmoil, lasted 2 decades. They divorced in 1960, but the emotional connection lingered. When Leigh passed away in 1967, Olivier, though remarried, was reportedly devastated, shedding tears upon hearing the news. Another affair that rocked Hollywood forever features Clark Gable. Let's delve into the details. Number 20. Clark Gable and Loretta Young. In 1935, while filming Call of the Wild, Hollywood royalty Clark Gable, often called the King of Hollywood, had a short-lived but life-changing relationship with his co-star, the graceful and deeply religious Loretta Young. What followed would become one of the most closely guarded secrets in Hollywood history. Young became pregnant, a shocking development in an era when a single unwed mother in the spotlight could see her career destroyed overnight. Knowing the harsh judgment that would surely follow, Young took a bold and heartbreaking step. She vanished from the public eye during her pregnancy, then returned months later with a plan. She secretly gave birth to a baby girl and later adopted her own biological child, carefully crafting a public story that would shield her from scandal. As for Gable, he never publicly admitted to fathering the child, though his signature features lived on in the little girl's face. For decades, the truth was buried beneath layers of carefully constructed lies and Hollywood polish. The next affair is a love constrained by contracts. Let's dig further into the details. Number 19. Jean Harlow and William Powell. Jean Harlow, famously known as the blonde bombshell, was one of Hollywood's brightest stars during the 1930s. With her striking looks and magnetic presence on screen, she captured the hearts of millions. But behind the glamorous facade was a deeply personal love story kept mostly in the shadows. Harlow shared a strong, heartfelt bond with fellow actor William Powell, known for his charm and elegance. Their relationship, though whispered about in Hollywood circles, was never made official, largely due to strict studio control. Tragedy struck in 1937 when Harlow died suddenly from kidney failure at the young age of 26. Her death stunned Hollywood. Powell, heartbroken and grieving, made sure her farewell was as beautiful as the love they shared. He chose a stunning gown he had once given her and paid for her final resting place, a marble crypt where she could be remembered in grace and dignity. His final tribute spoke volumes about a love that fame, contracts, and even death couldn't silence. Up next is a unique kind of affair, a love triangle. Let's find out who was involved. Number 18. Greta Garbo, Salka Viertel, and Mercedes de Acosta. In the dazzling world of old Hollywood, few stars shone as mysteriously as Greta Garbo, the iconic Swedish actress known for her beauty, brilliance, and deep love for privacy. But behind her quiet and distant persona, she found solace in an unexpected friend, Salka Viertel, a warm and spirited actress and screenwriter from Berlin. Their paths crossed at a lively Hollywood party in 1929, and from that moment, a unique friendship blossomed. Viertel became more than a friend. She became Garbo's creative partner, helping to shape some of her most memorable films. Through Salka, Garbo was introduced to Mercedes de Acosta, a bold and unapologetic writer known for living life on her own terms. Their connection was electric, emotional, passionate, and complicated. While there was clear affection between them, Garbo's deep need for privacy often clashed with de Acosta's openness. Things took a difficult turn when de Acosta later published private letters from Garbo, exposing parts of their bond that were never meant for the world to see. This act drove a wedge between them and painted a painful picture of how hard it is to protect something fragile and deeply personal when living in the spotlight. It was a reminder that fame and intimacy rarely walk hand in hand. Let's dive into the details of a seemingly perfect relationship that featured Robert Taylor. Number 17. Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Taylor. Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Taylor were once seen as the golden couple of classic Hollywood, elegant, successful, and seemingly perfect. Rumors swirled that their entire marriage had been carefully arranged by powerful movie studio executives. Back in those days, studios didn't just control what happened on screen, they often dictated the personal lives of their stars to keep fans enchanted and maintain a squeaky clean image. Stanwyck, known for playing bold, no-nonsense women, was a private person off-screen, which only fueled curiosity about her love life. Meanwhile, Taylor, the charming leading man, was rumored to have several affairs, adding a layer of drama to their story. Yet, no matter what whispers floated around, the pair always smiled for the cameras and played the part of the perfect couple. For over a decade, they kept up appearances, managing to convince the public of their happy union. But in 1951, the fairy tale ended in divorce. Have you heard of Tab Hunter's love in the shadows? Let's find out. Number 16. Anthony Perkins and Tab Hunter. Back in the tightly controlled, image-obsessed world of 1950s Hollywood, where the mere hint of being different could destroy a career, two rising stars, Anthony Perkins and Tab Hunter, found themselves entangled in a tender but hidden romance. Both young, charming, and admired by millions, they were expected to play the part of heartthrobs, dating beautiful actresses and flashing smiles for the cameras. But behind closed doors, away from the flashing bulbs and studio executives, they shared stolen moments of genuine love and connection. Over time, the weight of hiding, the demands of fame, and the pressure to compete in a cutthroat industry drove them apart. Still, their love story lingers in history as a touching reminder of what it meant to love quietly in a world that wouldn't let you speak. It was a romance, both beautiful and heartbreaking. lived in shadows, remembered in light. Let's look into the affair of a greatly admired Hollywood star, Ingrid Bergman. Number 15. Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini. Love amid scandal. Ingrid Bergman, one of Hollywood's most admired stars, was loved for playing noble and kind-hearted characters. So, when news broke that she was having an affair with Italian film director Roberto Rossellini while still married, it sent shockwaves through the public. The situation grew even more intense when it was revealed she was expecting a child with him. Fans were outraged, and the backlash reached such a peak that a U.S. senator publicly condemned her on the Senate floor, calling her a bad influence. With her reputation in ruins, Bergman left America behind and moved to Europe to be with Rossellini. Together, they built a life and started a family. But the scandal came at a steep cost. It damaged her once glowing image and created deep rifts in both her career and personal life. For years, she was shunned by the Hollywood world that once adored her. However, Bergman was not one to fade quietly into the shadows. Her return to the big screen was powerful and moving, gradually winning back the admiration she had lost. Have you heard of Rita Hayworth's relationships? Let's take a look. Number 14. Rita Hayworth and Orson Welles. Rita Hayworth and Orson Welles married in 1943 in a simple courthouse ceremony, surprising the public. The Associated Press questioned the hasty marriage, especially since Hayworth had been rumored to be engaged to actor Victor Mature. Initially happy, by 1946, their marriage was on the rocks. Hayworth met Prince Ali Khan shortly after, during a vacation to the French Riviera. Her beauty immediately attracted the famous Playboy prince, who even asked event planner Elsa Maxwell to arrange a party to win her over. Their relationship blossomed despite both being tied to others. Columbia President Harry Cohn was furious, threatening to sue Hayworth for $2 million for neglecting her career. The British press also criticized the relationship. Hayworth and Ali Khan married in France in 1949 and welcomed a daughter, Princess Yasmin, 7 months later. However, the marriage didn't last long. Let's talk next about a couple that lit up the screen with a very powerful chemistry. Number 13. Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy, a carefully crafted image. Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy lit up the screen with a chemistry so powerful that many believed it had to be real. Audiences were captivated by their connection, and rumors of a secret love affair between the two quickly spread. But behind the scenes, things may not have been as they seemed. Some claim that this relationship was a strategic move to protect both stars from public scrutiny over their real sexual preferences. Even with this shadow of doubt, one thing is certain. Katharine Hepburn showed incredible loyalty to Tracy. Through years of struggle, especially his battle with alcoholism, she stayed close to him, quietly offering support until his final days. Their bond, whether romantic or not, was undeniably strong. This story is more than just a tale of two famous actors. It reveals the hidden world of old Hollywood, where image was everything, and stars often had to live double lives to satisfy the expectations of the time. It's a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made for fame, and the mysteries that still linger behind the spotlight. Up next is Liza Minnelli's marriage that was shrouded with secrets that eventually destroyed it. Number 12. Liza Minnelli and Peter Allen. In 1967, Liza Minnelli, the talented daughter of the legendary Judy Garland, married Australian singer Peter Allen. At the time, Liza had no idea that Peter was secretly gay, a truth she would discover on their wedding night. This revelation set the stage for a tumultuous marriage filled with heartbreak and betrayal. Despite the outward glamour, their relationship was marked by Peter's infidelity, and the couple's bond began to unravel. Their marriage, which began with hope, was soon overshadowed by Peter's secret and the struggles that came with it. The couple faced public scrutiny, and behind the scenes, Liza endured emotional pain and disappointment. Their divorce in 1974 marked the end of a difficult chapter, but it also served as a turning point for Liza to reflect on her personal journey. In candid interviews and personal accounts, Liza Minnelli opened up about the toll this relationship took on her, especially living under the constant spotlight of fame. She spoke about the emotional cost of trying to maintain her private life while being constantly in the public eye. Have you heard about Charlie Chaplin's scandalous union with Lita Grey? Let's dive into the details. Number 11. Charlie Chaplin and Lita Grey. In 1924, Hollywood was shaken by a scandalous event that made headlines everywhere. Charlie Chaplin, the world-famous comedian and filmmaker, married 16-year-old Lita Grey. The situation quickly became a media frenzy. At the time, Grey was pregnant, and fearing the public backlash and potential legal trouble, Chaplin decided to marry her in secret. However, the marriage was anything but smooth. It quickly became clear that their relationship was filled with tension, disagreements, and emotional strain. Chaplin's controlling nature surfaced, causing deep frustration for Grey, who was still very young and inexperienced in matters of life and love. By 1927, the marriage had fallen apart, leading to a bitter divorce that exposed the darker side of Chaplin's personality. The divorce proceedings were highly publicized, and many of Chaplin's private behaviors were revealed to the world. The drama surrounding their breakup further tarnished Chaplin's reputation. It wasn't just a celebrity marriage that ended in disaster. It was a glimpse into the complex and troubled personal life of one of Hollywood's most beloved figures. This event left an indelible mark on Chaplin's career and personal life, forever linking his name to a scandal that no one would soon forget. Let's talk about Ava Gardner's passionate affair that made headlines. Number 10. Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra. When Frank Sinatra first laid eyes on Ava Gardner, his life was in turmoil. Once a dazzling star, his fame had begun to fade, and he was still married to his first wife, Nancy Barbato, the mother of his 3 children. But none of that seemed to matter the moment he met Ava. She was breathtaking, bold, magnetic, and unforgettable. Sinatra was completely swept off his feet, and their connection was instant and electric. Their love affair sparked headlines. It was passionate, reckless, and impossible to hide. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and it eventually led to Sinatra's divorce and their whirlwind marriage in 1951. But loving each other wasn't always easy. Their marriage was a roller coaster of fiery fights and deep, undeniable love. Sinatra's fierce jealousy clashed with Gardner's free-spirited independence. They would break up, make up, and do it all over again, unable to stay away from each other, yet struggling to stay together. Up next are the Golden Girls of Hollywood. Who are these girls? Let's dig into the details of the friendship the trio shared. Number 9. Debbie Reynolds, Eddie Fisher, and Elizabeth Taylor. Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor were once the Golden Girls of Hollywood, rising stars who shared laughter, dreams, and a strong friendship. In 1955, Reynolds married popular singer Eddie Fisher, and together they had 2 children, including the iconic future actress Carrie Fisher. But their glamorous world took a dark turn in 1958, when tragedy struck. Elizabeth Taylor's husband, producer Mike Todd, died in a horrific plane crash. Devastated, Taylor turned to Fisher, who offered a shoulder to lean on. That shoulder, however, soon turned into a full-blown affair. The shocking romance tore Fisher's marriage apart and ended with his divorce from Reynolds and a scandalous new marriage to Taylor. The public was stunned. Headlines painted Taylor as a heartless homewrecker, while Reynolds became America's heartbroken sweetheart. For years, bitterness lingered between the two women. But in an unexpected twist worthy of a Hollywood script, they eventually mended their broken friendship. Time softened the wounds, and they even reunited on-screen, co-starring in a movie penned by Reynolds' daughter, Carrie Fisher. Their story is more than one of betrayal. It's one of heartbreak, healing, and the surprising strength of forgiveness. In the end, two of Hollywood's brightest stars found their way back to the bond they once shared. Let's delve into the unexpected romance of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. Number 8. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. In 1944, during the filming of the movie To Have and Have Not, something magical happened on set. Hollywood legend Humphrey Bogart met a striking young newcomer, Lauren Bacall. He was 44, experienced, and already a star. She was just 19, fresh-faced, and new to the big screen. Despite the 25-year gap between them, the spark was immediate and intense, impossible for anyone around them to miss. At the time, Bogart was in a rocky marriage with actress Mayo Method. Their relationship was marked by constant fights and emotional turmoil. But meeting Bacall changed everything. What started as on-screen chemistry quickly turned into a deep, real-life connection. Their shared glances and whispered conversations on set blossomed into a passionate love affair. Bogart eventually ended his troubled marriage, and in 1945 he and Bacall tied the knot in a quiet ceremony. It was more than just a typical Hollywood romance. Theirs was a true partnership, filled with respect, affection, and a rare emotional bond that weathered the challenges of fame and age. For the next 12 years, they were inseparable. Until Bogart died in 1957, Lauren Bacall remained by his side, proving that sometimes love can strike in the most unexpected ways and last a lifetime. Let's look into the strong bond shared by Cary Grant and Randolph Scott. Number 7. Cary Grant and Randolph Scott. Cary Grant and Randolph Scott were two of the most admired and charming actors in Hollywood's golden age. Known for their good looks and magnetic screen presence, they captured the hearts of fans across the world. But beyond the glitz of movie sets and red carpets, they shared something more personal, a deep and lasting friendship that drew almost as much attention as their careers. At one point, the two lived together in a beachside home, enjoying a peaceful domestic life far from the Hollywood spotlight. They were often photographed relaxing by the pool, cooking together, or simply enjoying each other's company. This unusual closeness, especially between two high-profile men in a time when male friendships were expected to be more reserved, sparked plenty of rumors and whispered speculation. Though both eventually married women and never publicly commented on the nature of their relationship, their bond quietly pushed back against the rigid rules of masculinity in mid-20th century America. Whether their connection was purely platonic or something more, it was clear they found comfort, loyalty, and laughter in each other, a kind of companionship that defied expectations and still fascinates people to this day. Up next is a short-lived affair that began with the movie Sabrina. Let's dig into the details. Number 6. Audrey Hepburn and William Holden. Audrey Hepburn and William Holden's love story began behind the scenes of the 1954 classic film Sabrina. Their connection was instant, charming, intense, and filled with the spark of something real. Holden, a charismatic Hollywood star, was married at the time and quietly struggling with personal battles, including alcohol. But none of that stopped him from falling hard for the elegant and graceful Hepburn, whose beauty and poise captivated hearts everywhere. For a while, their romance burned brightly. They shared tender moments, laughter, and a sense of something that could have been lasting. But Hepburn dreamed of having children, and her hopes were shattered when she discovered Holden had undergone a vasectomy. He hadn't told her before, and the truth broke her heart. Wanting a family of her own, she made the painful decision to walk away. Still, Holden never stopped loving her. A decade later, when they were cast together in Paris, When It Sizzles, in 1964, their reunion was filled with emotional tension. Time had passed, but old feelings lingered. The set pulsed with memories of love once shared and of what might have been. Though their story never had a happy ending, it remains one of Hollywood's most bittersweet and captivating romances. The next is a volatile affair between Gary Cooper and Lupe Velez. Let's delve into the details. Number 5. Gary Cooper and Lupe Velez. Gary Cooper and Lupe Velez shared a romance that was as intense as it was explosive. Their paths crossed in 1929 on the set of The Wolf Song, and sparks flew almost instantly. The chemistry between them was undeniable, both on and off camera. Velez, a fiery Mexican actress known for her strong emotions and bold personality, was instantly drawn to Cooper's quiet charm and rugged good looks. But behind the scenes, their relationship was anything but smooth. Passion soon gave way to chaos. Velez's quick temper clashed with Cooper's wandering heart. He had a reputation for being unfaithful, and this drove Velez into wild fits of jealousy. Their love was a whirlwind, full of heated arguments, breakups, and passionate reunions. But as thrilling as it was, their romance couldn't last. It all came to a dramatic end in true Hollywood fashion. As Cooper prepared to leave on a train, Velez, in a storm of anger and heartbreak, reportedly fired a gun at him. Thankfully, she missed, and Cooper escaped unharmed. Though their affair was over, the fire they ignited burned bright in gossip columns and movie history for years to come. A tragic, thrilling tale of love, betrayal, and heartbreak in the golden age of cinema. Let's talk about the dangerous affair in which Lana Turner found herself. Number 4. Lana Turner and Johnny Stompanato. Lana Turner, one of Hollywood's most glamorous stars, found herself entangled in a dangerously toxic relationship with Johnny Stompanato, a known mobster with a dark and controlling personality. What started as a passionate romance quickly turned into a stormy and abusive affair, filled with threats, fear, and constant tension. Turner tried to hide the pain behind the bright lights of fame, but behind closed doors, things were falling apart. The situation took a heartbreaking turn in 1958. During one of their many explosive arguments, Turner's 14-year-old daughter, Cheryl Crane, witnessed the violence and feared for her mother's life. In a moment of terror and desperation, Cheryl grabbed a knife and lashed out at Stompanato, ending his life. She later said she did it to protect her mother from further harm. The shocking event shook the entire film industry and made headlines across the world. People were stunned that such horror could unfold in the home of a beloved movie star. Though Cheryl was cleared of wrongdoing, the tragedy left deep emotional scars. For Turner, it marked a turning point in her personal and professional life. Up next is an affair that withered upon mentioning marriage. Let's find out more. Number 3. Bette Davis and William Wyler. Bette Davis, one of Hollywood's most iconic stars, once confessed that director William Wyler was the true love of her life. Their passionate romance began on the set of The Letter in 1940, when sparks flew between them amidst the intense atmosphere of filmmaking. As they worked closely together, their connection deepened far beyond the screen. Davis was drawn not only to Wyler's brilliance as a director, but also to his strong character, charm, and deep understanding of her as a woman and an actress. Though their bond was powerful and genuine, their paths began to drift apart when the topic of marriage arose. Wyler wanted a different kind of life, one that didn't fully align with Davis's vision of love, commitment, and career. Torn between her heart and her dreams, Davis ultimately walked away, even though it broke her inside. Years later, with the fire of youth behind her and only memories left to hold, Davis spoke of Wyler with a soft ache in her voice. She never stopped loving him. The regret lingered, not because the love wasn't real, but because life had pulled them in opposite directions. In her eyes, he was the one who got away, the man who had claimed her heart forever. Let's talk about the toxic passion of Marlon Brando and Rita Moreno. Number 2. Marlon Brando and Rita Moreno. For 8 unforgettable years, the love story between Marlon Brando and Rita Moreno was as thrilling as it was painful. Their relationship was a whirlwind of fiery passion, emotional highs, and devastating lows. Brando, one of Hollywood's biggest stars, was known not just for his talent, but also for his wandering heart. His many affairs left Moreno heartbroken time and again. Tired of being hurt, she tried to even the score by dating none other than Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. But instead of healing, this only added more confusion and sadness to her already fragile heart. Things eventually spiraled into tragedy. Moreno became pregnant by Brando, and he pushed for a pregnancy termination, which turned into a deeply traumatic experience for her. The emotional pain became too heavy to bear, and she later attempted to take her own life. It was one of the darkest chapters of her life. And yet, in time, Rita Moreno looked back and admitted that Marlon Brando left a lasting mark on her soul. Despite the betrayal and heartbreak, he shaped her life in unforgettable ways. Their love was far from perfect, but it was powerful. So powerful that its echoes still linger in her story. Their connection was intoxicating, the kind of bond that could burn you alive and still leave you craving more. Even when they weren't together, they were never truly apart, constantly pulled back into each other's orbit. Friends said they fought hard, but loved even harder. For Moreno, Brando was both her greatest love and her deepest wound. And though the relationship nearly destroyed her, it also helped shape the fierce, resilient woman she would eventually become. The last on the list is the controversial romance between Errol Flynn and Asland. Let's delve further. Number 1. Errol Flynn and Beverly Adland. Errol Flynn, the famous Hollywood star known for his daring roles and charm, was at the center of one of the most shocking scandals in Tinseltown history. In the late 1950s, Flynn became romantically involved with Beverly Adland, a 15-year-old girl. The age difference between them was huge, and their relationship raised serious legal and ethical concerns. What made the situation even more troubling was that Beverly's mother seemed to approve of the affair, which only added to the controversy. Flynn, who was in his 40s, seemed unfazed by the public outcry, continuing his relationship with the young teenager under the spotlight of Hollywood's glamorous world. Their affair caused a stir, drawing sharp criticism from many who saw it as an abuse of power and a troubling reflection of the darker, hidden side of the entertainment industry during its so-called Golden Age. When Errol Flynn passed away in 1959 at the age of 50, Beverly was by his side. Despite the tragic ending, their relationship continued to be remembered as a symbol of the troubling realities of fame and power in Hollywood. The story of Flynn and Adland remains one of the most unsettling tales of love and exploitation in the history of cinema, casting a long shadow over the glamour of the era. What do you think about the affairs that shook old Hollywood? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.